boys? What's up? I'm out here in the fucking woods. I'm so tired of the goddamn drama. Oh my god, I had to call the fucking police on a police officer last night, throwing a hissy fit. And I had to call his precinct to be like, what the fuck is going on? Just to let you know. And I went off, I called 2 different precincts today. This morning, early in the morning, the first thing that they woke up to today was Casey O'Brien being like, hey, is this a non-emergency line? Okay, if you have an emergency, feel free to put me on hold, no worries. And they're like, okay, very nice. And then I told them my name. And then they're like, hold for a minute. And then they came back angry as fuck. They're like, what do you want? And I was like, oh, I just had a question for you. I just had a question for you, man. What is camping? Oh, well, I'm out. And they're like, camping is when you stay over. Oh, she said, camping, it's self-explanatory. And I said, oh, so it's when you go on vacation with your family and you pretend to live in the woods for a couple days. Right? And she was like, no. And I'm like, then what's camping? And she's like, when you stay overnight. And I was like, okay, well, I stay during the day. And I went off on her and she started getting mad. Just talking about like, oh, I'm allowed to be here. The cop said I could be here. Why did this cop throw a hissy fit on me yesterday? Just to let you know. And she got so mad. She was like yelling at the phone. And I said, hey, don't get emotional. Don't get emotional. You're acting really unprofessional. And she's like, I'm not. And I said, what do you need? She was yelling. I'm like, you're getting aggressive. Your tone's getting louder. You're getting more straightforward with me. You shouldn't be reacting this emotionally to a simple question about camping, miss. And she was like, what do you need from me? I'm like, I need to know. First, I need you to have some discipline and some patience. And she's like, I am being disciplined and patient. And I was like, you sure? Because we both know you're not, lady. I want to know what camping is. So she's like, please hold. And then an officer came on, a male officer. And I went off for about a half hour telling him all the things that I've been through. And wondering why I can't set my tent up during the daytime, sleep from 5 o'clock to 2 o'clock, clean up my tent, and then go. Why do I have to have these police screaming in my face and acting like children? And I told him all the stories about me fighting people almost to the death and having to kill people in self-defense. And I told him tons of shit. Not yet. If they keep acting up, man, I might. I really might. The recipe for napalm is gasoline mixed with styrofoam. You just cut up a bunch of styrofoam and mix it with gasoline, chuck it at somebody, it will burn them, it'll melt their entire face off and they'll die almost instantly. But, so look where I am. Can you guess where I am? I can't. My phone camera doesn't zoom like the regular camera does. I can't focus. I'm trying to show you, brothers. Can you see that gold on the building? I'm in heaven. No. But I went off on them and I got this guy in trouble. I snitched on a cop to the cops. Snitched on a whiny cop to the cops. Yeah, you can put styrofoam in a Molotov. If you want. I've seen it happen. I write songs about it. So I went off on the police and I got this guy that gave me a lot of trouble yesterday. In trouble. But check out where's my new bike? Look. Look at this goddamn bikes. These are expensive as hell, bro. That bike right there, if you look up Specialized bike on Google, I don't know what brand this is, but if you just look up Specialized bike and you find the one that kind of looks like this, it's $2,500. This is a $2,500 bike, maybe. Who are you talking about? Wandy Banda? Windy Bunda? Oh, you mean the profile picture? That's me when I was young. I've killed many people since, and there will be many more. So yeah, I called 3 different police stations today, and I ratted on a bunch of cops about what they're doing and what I'm hearing about the cops, and I let them know that they're bad at their jobs in Vermont. Vermont, you've become too fat and docile, and that's caused you to be deluded. And the guy really sat down and listened to me, and I really woke him up to God and like, and then I told him, yeah, I told him about how the homeless people should be riding electric bikes that generate power. These homeless guys that will go 12 hours a day running around looking for crack, put them on an electric bike that generates power and let them sprint out all their issues and then get compensated for the power that they created. Yeah, they don't like solutions. They want to hear about problems. The people that scroll on this don't want to hear about solutions. They want to hear about problems. You feel me? Unless I'm shirtless and screaming at the camera, which is coming, but I'm just tired. I wanted to give y'all an update. Because I hit 250 subscribers, motherfuckers. I hit 250 subs, man. Final solutions, yeah, like a Molotov to the police station. Yeah, but, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're in the biblical rapture right now. So I'm outside the state capitol building, live streaming every day. I'll try, man. I already took a shit. Guess where I took a shit? Right in the place that they accused me of taking a shit yesterday. The police over here, because I'm sleeping back here, and a cop ran up and slammed on my tent and stole my bike. And he was screaming at me that I disrespected their state capitol building, which is a literal Freemasonic lodge where they have a dungeon where they used to rape Native Americans. For real, on God, no cap. So like, you disrespected our business by shitting on the public trail that's the Vermont State Trail. And I was like, first off, I already don't like you. If I wanted to shit somewhere, it would be someplace you would step in it immediately. You would know. You'd have a heaping pile of shit in your face if that was the case. And then he was like, no, the other junkies are too fucking lazy to come up here. And then a veteran homeless man with an army cap and his army uniform when he used to be a veteran in Desert Storm, who's on a lot of drugs now because he has PTSD, waddled up and asked me for a cigarette mid-conversation while they were watching my live stream yesterday from the building. Shit like that's happening. So I went and I just relayed a lot of these stories to the police today. And now I'm going to go to sleep. I have 3 bikes. Check out my other bike. I have 3. If I could, if not, I would pick probably RFK. Either way, I think the Indigenous should be growing in population and spreading out across the country, and they should be in charge. I think the Indigenous people should be in charge no matter what happens. Because everyone else is doing Kabbalion rituals with satanic high wizards to influence the public. The Indigenous people are just have an extra sense with all their passed down ancient wisdom to be able to live in spirit and reality at the same time. They don't need to channel a demon to do their work for them. They're like, go to bed and astral project naturally. That's what's going on in the reservations. They're fighting a spiritual war every night. And they have something in their genetics that the Europeans would kidnap them and rape them, and that's still happening to this day. Indigenous women are still being kidnapped by government organizations. And that's still a fact. That's when you see, if you're scrolling on your timeline and you see like a picture of a Native American woman with a red hand covering her mouth, that's because Freemasons and the CIA and all these government places have been just coming in and stealing women for 200 years now. Yep. So, I don't know. I know that Native American stuff has followed me my whole life. I know that my dad and I have some huge ties to Celtic, like O'Brien is Ireland, some huge ties to Celtic stuff. And then every time I've ever spoken to a psychic, she tells me that I'm surrounded by war chiefs with the headdresses on. And they're very proud of me, but they're very angry at what's ahead of me, and they're ready to help me through battle. So that happens. Somebody offered me a headdress yesterday. Somebody on Facebook, I reposted something on Facebook, and somebody hit me up and said, hey, thanks for supporting the thing. I really like your style. I like what you've been posting for the past couple months. I have these extra headdress feathers if you'd like them. So a Native American man, I don't even know his name's like, I don't know how to spell it. It's like Doinie. Is that Doini? Donnie? I don't want to butcher it, but I've just go on Facebook and I rant in different groups, and somebody offered me his headdress. I haven't spoken about anything to do with Indigenous, like headdress or war chief stuff, anything. Maybe he found me from my YouTube channel. I just got a text from somebody that says, hey, I saw you. I like your stuff. After I reposted something from like an Indigenous AI art person that pumps out AI art of Native American stuff, Indigenous stuff. And he just texted me yesterday, and said, hey, I like your stuff. I have a headdress for you if you'd like it. So I don't know if that's okay. I think it'd be really cool for me to ride my bike around white America, blasting Native American music from my backpack from Young Spirit. And then I just stirred the birds up a little bit. And for me, it's look, so I have this on my arm, the Celtic green, my old producer tag was Greenheart Sound, and he's offering me a black and green feather headdress. So should I take it? It's for $40, and I have, I think, 50 now. I have like $55. But then every day I could ride through town wearing the headdress. And when people try to fuck with me, I say, you have been deluded, and your fat on your body has taken you away from the Great Spirit. You need to go sit out in the woods and relieve yourself of your house. You've confined yourself in your mind and your life. And you're ruining the lives of everybody else because of your inability to let go and let God lose your mind and come to your senses, and then come sit out in nature, which is full of wisdom that will heal you. Yeah, I'm the highest level psychic possible on this earth. I'm a 33 life path, born on the 11th. I'm back. You're a 33 as well? I'm back. You're a 33 as well? Are you serious? Are you still there? Are you serious? You're a 33 life path? Bruce Lee? Or are you just making shit up? Because that means that there are 3 of us in the chat right now. That's rare as hell. Definitely subscribe. We'll get in touch. We're gonna make a Discord. We're making a Discord. Because that means that our purpose in life is to influence as many people as possible. For 3 of us to be in this group chat, and I know 2 others. And that's rare. Like, there's not going to be another 33 life path born until 2029. The last possible 33 life path was December 20th, 1999. Sagittarius in the beginning of Capricorn in 1999 was the last 33 life path until 2029. We might not make, like, the Vatican says that everything's going to end on 2027. I mean, in my life, I'll go off really quick because you're 33. My life was extremely specific. My whole life has been a Truman Show. Like, every moment of my life has been a Truman Show. I've been basically prepared for this. You see how my bikes say Specialized? If you look up Specialized, and I have 2 bikes now that say it, so I Googled it, because all my album names start with S, and I have these bikes that have the giant S on it, so I looked up what Specialized means, and it means crafted for a specific purpose. And trained in that purpose. If you're new to the channel, man, I used to work in the music industry. I met a lot of famous people. My father worked very closely with one of the rich elite families, like the 13 richest people in the world, their families. My dad worked with them. He taught their kids how to ski, and then his friend Skip would drive their yachts, so they would get to go on the yachts with these what might be reptilian baby eaters. And I grew up with them. They used to throw things in the pool and make me dive for them, and they'd watch. And they'd say, "That's life. Dive for that toy because I told you to. I promise. Swear to, on God." So my life has been this crazy Truman Show for a long time because they just come from my energy. So I started making YouTube videos talking about it and trying to make my art, trying to make my album, trying to push things forward. I've had to kill 2 people in self-defense. I've been in like 15 fights. I've been to county jail like 10 times, and I only have like 2 charges. They just let me out the next day. Where I had a breakthrough in meditation, and I stopped being a little bitch, and I took control of life and used my gifts. You feel me? You picking up what I'm putting down, bitch? I'm on a public trail today, bitch. You can't stop me now. I'm on a public trail. Try me, bitch. There's a red squirrel coming. Yeah. So I've done a lot. And I just hit 250 subs. So I'm excited. I have a pack of American Spirit Blacks. I'm on here looking for donations, trying to get a computer. I just got this nice bike. I know God provides. If you have a rich grandma that needs some good karma, man, I have so many plans. I'm talking about content creation farms. I'm talking about merch designs. I'm talking about 6 albums and 3 TV shows I've written. I'm talking about being in a position to put on like 7 other gifted Irish artists around my state that are very gifted and just they're suffering trying to make rent and they can't afford a studio. They can't afford studio time. All that stuff. Also like tons of live stream ideas, tons of art ideas, all this stuff. So that's where I'm at. I've tried to get a job. If you go back through my video, it's hard. It might be hard to go back through my videos because the energy has changed. But I've been suffering for like 4 years now. And I don't know where to go next. Like I rampage and I'll go out and make a difference and try to have fun. I'll go to bars. And it just seems like they're all gone. It seems like Rapture and Revelations, they just didn't make it. I'll go into a bar and they're all empty and lifeless husks. I'm literally live streaming to you from the spiritual front lines, from a weird, small white the capital of Vermont. Like Bernie, we just had to stop a police officer from throwing a temper tantrum because somebody pooped on a public trail and he was grabbing at his gun. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders is hanging out with Theo Vaughn. Bernie Sanders is hanging out with Theodore Vaughn on YouTube. And we're out here fighting crackheads to the death. And all I want to do is put an electric bike down so that these crackheads can take turns on the electric bike, generating money that way instead of standing around panhandling. And white America is done for, man. White America has proven to me that we need the revelations. This needs to end. White people are sick. There's something wrong with privileged, fat white people. They're cannibalistic. They hurt each other. Their whole day is based around their ego, where they're constantly trying to hurt each other. Police will pull up and make young boys in their cars submit to them like dogs, and then they'll take that ego validation and go right to Starbucks to go try to hit on the girls because they think they have a better vibe. That's how far out from the real world that they've become, how deluded they've become. Like the energy that they think that they have to fight others to get through validation and a social network. You can just lay down in the forest for like 2 hours and be respectful, and nature will fill you up, and then you're suddenly a shining light that makes everybody mad and start twitching. So I'm going live, brother. So I'm asking you guys, is it wrong for me to... There's a Native American man online offering me a headdress where I can go out in public with a full headdress. Is that wrong? Because I didn't grow up on the res, and I have no idea what my blood quantum is, but I look like I'm Irish and Native American. I've got the features, brother. I look like an alien. When you look at me, you can see look at the shape of my eyes. I'm an alien, brother. Tarot readers have messages for me every single day. I'm studying Bashar right now. I'm studying a guy that channels aliens. And I'm like trying to find chinks in his armor. I'm trying to find that one moment in the past 40 years where he slipped up and he made it seem like he was lying the whole time. And I haven't found it yet. And everything that he says matches up with my life experience. Even down to the fact where I thought that I was channeling aliens before. I was like, why? Maybe I'm schizophrenic. Why do I feel this pressure on the back of my head right here? And then suddenly I'm starting to like hear things. This was like 2020. I pissed off the crow. When I get too close to talking about it, I get swarmed by crows. You can go back months. You can go back 2 years. That every single day of my life, I'm surrounded by crows. I'm in like a psionic prison. And yesterday a hawk saved me. It flew and stood right above my tent where this light is. It sat right above my tent for the whole day, keeping so I could rest. And then I woke up having to deal with police that were screaming and rampaging. So look at my new place. Look at my big view. That's where the trail is. They said if they have my tent, the police are gonna kick me out. And I said, well, how come all of Facebook is telling I'm very proud of that, man. I'm really proud of that if anyone's here. Yeah, when you open up your peripheral vision, you can see the what you'd call your spirit guides, or you'd call the higher dimensional entities, or whatever that is making this crow come at me all day and silently attack me for dominance all the time, keeping me stuck. When you lay down and you lay back and you kind of sit further in your mind and you have Bruce Lee, it's really cool that you're here because I've been relaying Bruce Lee's message this whole time. Kato's toe kicks to enter the dragon. Ketosis, when you stop eating sugar, your body does autophagy and apoptosis, where it goes in and it cleans out the parasites. All diseases caused by parasites. You don't get a bacterial infection where you take in some foreign bacteria from food and you get sick. You get a parasite, and that parasite lives in your body like a demon, and it guides your brain like a demon to go help it produce more like a demon. So when you fast, like religions tell you to fast, you eat the parasites for food. Your body does it naturally. We're self-cleaning machines that are designed to connect to the sunlight and then become infinite. Information that could get me killed. And I swear to God, on my life, last week, somebody that might be an undercover cop, or it might be an FBI agent, or it might be a CIA agent, or it might be a rogue Freemason, or some type of hacker, or it might be just an alien outside of the simulation, came to press me about starting a hunger strike against the government when I was on here every day telling people to fast and get sunlight to heal themselves. I can tell you for a fact I've cured cancer. It's just stop eating. Ketosis, autophagy, apoptosis. Your body eats the damaged cells first, and then you take in the good stuff, proteins, omega-3 fatty acids, multivitamins. Don't eat vegetables from the ground because it's got the metals and minerals that cows need 6 stomachs to process. Instead, take it from a multivitamin while you're healing. And then just keep doing that, cycling, intermittent fasting, ketosis, autophagy, apoptosis. That will stimulate neurogenesis when you take cold showers to get the blood and the ketosis, the dragon breath, up into your brain through exercise. And then when you get sunlight, you'll be able to house it better. You feel me? Means don't end. Keep jerking off, and I hope one day your dad will finally be proud of you. You're grounded, brother. You're grounded. Come back to daddy tomorrow like the other 12 people that come into my life every day because I've grounded them. And they come back for more. You fucking heard me, bitch. You fucking heard me. So I hope I can get some rest today, man. And nobody's gonna come at me while I sleep. I have a lot of phone calls I have to make too. I got a lot of business I need to attend to. I need to figure out what should I do with this bike, man. Should I keep 2 bikes and then escape to the woods? Or should I sell one, fix the other one, and then fix that one, sell it up, bring it to a bike shop, try to get almost close to full price, and then get my computer? Should I get 2 bikes or should I sell it? Because both these bikes are nice, and I have a feeling that the world's gonna go crazy, and I'm gonna need to give somebody a bike. So it's nice to have these nice bikes. I need a dog and a gun. If I want to stay outside, I need a dog and a gun, and I need a BB gun to bean these crows. I need a machete, I need a hatchet, I need a pocket knife, I need a small fishing rod that can come out, that you can fold up. I need like a big giant military bag. I need boots because I've been slipping and falling. Then I need a solar panel. And then I'm not sure about an RV or a Sprinter van, but that would be the next thing. The universe has provided me with amazing bikes, so um I'm not sure about that. Oh, I was talking about channeling. So I kept seeing this thing, and I kept feeling the stimulation in the back of my mind. It was painful. It hurt for me to get that mind upgrade, and I didn't know what it was. I was seeing like crows coming behind my mind and like trying to get into my head, and I was seeing like lion people and all this stuff. And I didn't know what it was. Today I watched a video on channeling, and that's your chakra that opens up for you to receive messages from higher other dimensional beings. That's how you're naturally able to take in, and that's why people have long hair, is to that the reason the natives had the long hair all the way down to their ass crack that they would braid is because that the it would electrically charge like an extension of yourself, like an antenna, and then it would go into the back of your head like that, and that's how you could connect to open up a foundation for you to astral project when you had enough semen in your spine, and you could do the Kundalini awakening. So I solve problems when I go live. I solve people's problems. I put them onto life. I fix their mental health problems. I get them militant, doing push-ups, working out, and then we're slowly working towards a better tomorrow while the world is ending around us, in the hopes that I can finish my songs and get a means to make my art before I go. So I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna smoke my cigarette, lay down, and watch some YouTube videos because I'm tired. I've been up for 24 hours now. And then we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully I wake up by around 2 o'clock and I can call the post office to get my shit. Or maybe I'll stay up. What would you do if someone tried to kill you? Are you talking about in the past and you have PTSD? Or are you talking about in the future if someone tries to kill you? What should you do? Are you talking about how to heal from trauma, or are you talking about how to defend yourself in the future? Should you fight back? What's up, brother? Answer the question, Bruce. When? How long are you still recovering from that right now? Okay, I have a couple answers for that. It depends on how recent that was. Fuck. So first off, April's the 4th month, and it's the 4th day. On 4 days, that's when law and order is more active in the social matrix made by Freemasons. So like yesterday was a 4 day, and it was also a 13 day. So I got attacked by the matrix really heavily. I had police and all this, and they warned me 12 hours before I was talking about it. I thought it was a 5 day, and then tons of police swarmed me that night to tell me like, oh no, it's a 4 day. Get ready. So on the 4 day, of course, you had to deal with police because someone hit you with a car. But that's also 8. That adds up to 8, and it's the year of the 8. So that was karma. You must have done something, man. But that's also a formative experience for you. There's a reason that happened. For real. Everything happens for a reason, I swear. Everything is divine timing and intervention. Every time you wake up in the day, you have exactly what you need to do that day for you. So that was like that. It was a canon event. It taught you a lot about life. For whatever reason, everybody's stuff is different. Either way, like if it was recent, I would have said go right to every single business around it and call the police immediately. Tell them what happened. Police don't really like to do their jobs anymore. They want to go party in Miami and they can't, so they're butthurt and bitter. So they don't really give a fuck anymore. It's also mainly it's either to help you wake up or to stop you from waking up. That's everything that happens. Oh, we see it as a challenge. No matter what happens, you have to see it as a challenge. Never see it as a problem. See it as a challenge to find a solution for the problem instead of just like being overwhelmed by being attacked. If you see it as a challenge, you stay militant, focused, and you can get yourself out of it. And that's what you're here for. That's called individuation. As you grow and suffer and you get stronger. But when I had stuff like that, like I've had truck drivers stop me on the top of a mountain and he got out and tried to break my fucking arm. I had a truck driver fucking stop a car on the top of a mountain, get out of the truck, try to slam my arm and break it, tried to slam my head against the steering wheel, tried to break my window and leave. And we got him because there was a camera. So immediately I called the police and I called everyone I could just around. I made noise. When something happens to you, start a wildfire. Anything that happens to you, man, if it's unjust and it's like a systematic problem, start a wildfire. Get as many people involved as possible. Get as many people talking about it. If that makes sense. Get camera footage. Do the police's job for you if you have to. Go kind of deranged. Call all the businesses and say, some dude hit me with a fucking car. Can you please, when you have time, do me a favor and just check. This was the exact time it happened so that they can scroll back. Usually people are helpful if you're respectful. I can't tell you for the cities. I know the cities are really trapped right now. The cities are fucked up. I know it's a bad place in the cities. There's no trees in the cities. There's no connection to nature. The birds, we're pretty sure, we're pretty sure half the birds are government drones. It's just pigeons out there in the cities. There's no diversity like this. So the cities are fucked up. So it'll probably be hard. Like it'll probably be so much harder for people in the cities to get things done the way that we can in small towns, where I can call 6 businesses and get them mad about something that happened, and they won't go to war for me, but they love to gossip because that's all they can do is shove shit in their mouth and spread shit around. So when you give them the shit, eventually it makes enough noise. So that's where I would start if that was in the past. I mean, now the best thing you can do is just fasting, sunlight, probiotics, multivitamins, omega-3s, rest, breathing exercises, isolation in nature, getting rest, going out on adventures by yourself, and then your tribe will kind of come to you as you go. That's how you find your purpose. You said you're having trouble with your purpose. Your purpose is doing a bunch of different things and then finding the things that feel really exciting for you, and then chase that excitement as much as you can, and then chase the next thing. And then you'll start to realize what you want. You'll start to be grateful for more things that happen around you. That's probably why you got hit low key. when I go through horrible periods of suffering, it made me grateful. Everything that I've been through has forced me to be grateful and present to the moment. All the things that I went through, as much as it was horrible, like I've been outside for winters eating through dumpsters and nobody helped me. I've been alone against whole cities that wanted to hurt me, and they would take pictures of me in my car with a gun pressed against the car because a rumor got these addicts in small towns to come at me. I had lies my whole life. My family are major gaslighters living in delusion that stop at nothing to stop me from achieving grace. And now I can recognize that. Um, but all of that just makes me more competent. It makes me better at handling problems. It makes me strong enough that I can handle other people's problems. It's made me proud of myself. It's made me grow into the man that I used to daydream and pretend that I was. Back when people were saying you should fake it till you make it. The person that I was faking, I've become. And I'm really proud of that. And it took the suffering. But healing bones, I've definitely healed one person, definitely 100%. He was going to the hospital every month. His stomach was getting gutted open and they were ripping out a tumor, and they were like, you got another month. I don't know how long you can go until your insurance runs out, but we're going to keep going if you keep coming. And then within 6 months of him fasting sunlight probiotics, standing outside at the beach at Old Orchard Beach and watching the sunlight rise to stimulate all the different frequencies of his mind, going to bed on time, doing breathing exercises, resting, meditating, changing his influences on his phone to positive influences, and then just trying to be nice to people and spread positivity. And his cancer left in 6 months, and he's fine. He got $1 million and moved to Florida, and he blocked me because I threw a hissy fit one day because I was like, just give me $20, help me get gas to keep door dashing. And he was like, no. And I was like, you have no idea what I deal with. And then I blocked him, and then I unblocked him, and he's had me blocked for months, for years now. But that guy also, when I lived at his house, even though he's a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, he still slapped my ass and tried to jump on my back to stop me from leaving. And his guts opened up on my fucking back, and I had guts and blood everywhere, and he had to go to the hospital. But 6 months later, completely healed, and he's fine, doing this practice that I learned from someone in the CIA because I had a brain injury and I thought all hope was lost for me. So I just went on a mission, and I found this woman on Instagram, and I just went to her office one day. I took a bus all the way to Arizona, and I went through Phoenix with 100 pounds on my back, black and blues, walking around brain damage in a daze. And I pulled up at this woman's office and just sat down and was like, come meet me outside, thinking she wouldn't think I was crazy. Come meet me outside. You talk about God and quantum physics and how to heal yourself. You should know that it would be more impactful for you to come meet me outside. And she called the police instead, and I cried like a baby. And then she called me 20 minutes later on Instagram. She found my Instagram because she's CIA. She found my Instagram and cried and said, I wrote a book. I have so much money. My ego took advantage of me. I thought you were some crazy fan. God sent you to me to remind me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So thank you. And she gave me $1,000 worth of medication. I got to stay in a resort for 2 nights, and she gave me everything she knows in a book that I just have in my mind. The Higgs boson, quantum mechanics, quarks, leptons, protons, the yin yang with the how it spins, the golden spiral, the hero's journey, the Milky Way galaxy, as above, so below, as within, so without. How to channel yourself back into yourself with ketosis, autophagy, apoptosis. That stimulates neurogenesis. If you know Martin Cabello, I know Martin Cabello. I met Martin Cabello. If you look him up, I know him. I know Owen Cook. I know Elliot Hulse. I know C.416. I know the ghostwriter for Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. I met MGK at a McDonald's, and he cried about the Illuminati to me once at a North Ave Jacks concert afterwards in Burlington, Vermont. He was just sitting down, and nobody recognized him because he was dressed normally. He just looks like a normal Vermonter when he wears a hoodie. Everyone looks like MGK here. So I was like, hey, I went right up and asked him. I said, hey, are you still able to be infinitely abundant and like a child, or did you have to sacrifice that to be in your position? And he said, I wouldn't wish fame on anybody. I wish I could go back and just be in the projects and have my kid. I could have made so much money on crypto, but I'm stuck. Don't ever do it. I'm so sorry for North Ave Jacks. And then he got up and left. And he just got in a car and left. He didn't have security. He didn't have anything. Later, I found out all the stuff that you have to do to become in that position that those famous people are in. And I'm so glad that instead of continuing on with the music industry, I got brain damage and stuck in public housing for a year. Or else I would be Aiden Ross. We're also born on the 11th. I'd be Joe Rogan and Aiden Ross with CIA handlers that keep me in check so they won't, and if I go out of it, they'll clone, and that's called a Gucci suit. So I'm happy I'm here. The best thing you can do is just love your family, fasting, sunlight, probiotics, and then you can start to take in the good, take out the bad. Don't be gay ever. It's a psyop. Never be gay. Never be gay. Never. Never be gay. Never do it ever. Never. Never be gay. Ever do it. Don't ever do it. I don't care. I don't know, man. The world goes in cycles. Everything is cyclical. So there are cycles where being gay is horribly demonic, and it's obvious when you look at them in the eyes. They're not with God. They're not full of light. They're actively defiant against the natural order. And then we go through periods of like fifth dimensional love where it's like, it doesn't matter because we're all just souls and bodies. That's a 3D system. It just depends. I know the trans movement is a psyop to destroy masculinity. Swear to God. Swear it's social Darwinism. If you're willing to cut your dick off and ruin your life for the rest of your life, you don't deserve to have kids. You'll make them crazy. But Planned Parenthood was made by Satanists because to do high-level rituals, you need to have the late-term abortions. What they do, Satanists will wait until the baby's crowning, right before it's about to crown, and then they kill it. And that's the most powerful way that they can steal its life force energy to convert it into a manifestation, to exert their will on reality, to make what they want come true, against the God or whatever they're going against. But it's real. And I've met a high wizard. I've met there's only allowed to be between 5 and 10 of them at once in the world. And I met one of them. And he had a similar origin story to me, where I believe in one God that created everything, and that's I am. That's we're all the same thing expressing itself in different ways. We're all the universe. But then I'm really on the fence about mycelial networks and other dimensional beings. I think there's way more to this than we realize. And I think that there are higher dimensions and lower dimensions. I think that lower dimensional entities want to ride us into higher dimensions, so they attach to us like parasites. I think that so gods that live outside of space and time but have some type of hold on the planet, like Cernunnos and like Dagda and like Aod and like Thoth and Teotihuacan and Jesus and all these people. I think that those types of beings exist, and I think I've met a lot of them. Like I've 100%. It's either one God and it's a simulation, and my story has so many themes revolving around Irish and Indigenous cultures that I got that experience because I created that experience coming into this life. And as the higher dimensional being, when I incarnated as a 33, I set this world up to be that specific way. So I'm not meeting the Irish God of the Wild. I'm meeting God that's choosing to express itself as the Irish God of the Wild. Or there is Cernunnos, and that CERN, the particle accelerator, named itself out of an existing God that's here. And the Wendigo in Indigenous culture is a representation of that same entity. Either way, I've activated the squirrels, and they're all watching me like cameras. And when I do mushrooms, it gets so obvious that I'm in an alien TV show, and that these squirrels are cameras, and they're all surrounding me. And every time I meet somebody in the woods and we do mushrooms, the squirrels just stop and stare at us like cameras, and they follow us through the forest just watching. And then I know all the cells on the trees. Everything is conscious, so these trees are perceiving me in a way that isn't with eyes. They can just sense my presence, and they can sense my emotions, and they know my heart. Do I believe in the Trinity? First off, fuck you, nuclear war. Go fuck your mother. Second off, do I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? Do I believe that God gifted men the ability to create, and that women are subservient in their vessels to house what men create? Between him, his firstborn, his sons, and God, the Holy Spirit. No. But I believe in 3, the number 3, and how that cycles upward. But I don't think women are subservient. I think that they just do something different. Like, you can't ask women that. When people are like, women aren't funny, they do so much. They give birth to people. They help their communities in ways that we don't understand, where they literally use their mind to weave the fabric of the world that we live inside. They might not be able to make a funny joke, but they can make an entire house feel safe and comfortable with their mind, with just their presence. I think that there is a God. I think that it does revolve around the family, the father, the son, the mother, the daughter. I think it's more than just we evolved from cells. I think that we're, like, there's so much evidence it's a holographic simulation that I'm not even sure that... Do I think God has a son named Jesus? I'm thinking about, I asked, did God have a son named Jesus? When I talk about... Yeah, it's like an archetype. But I think there's a lot more than we realize, and a lot of the Bible's... I don't want to spend hours yelling at crows anymore. I need a BB gun. I need a BB gun. I just want to start killing them. I don't even care. I don't care if it's incompassionate. I want to kill him. I want to kill these crows. I'm tired. I think that the Bible is an amalgamation of all the different culture stories that the Catholics raped. Most of the things the Bible talks about is talking about astrology. It's talking about how to use astrology to go into your software and change your belief systems. It's just, and every culture that grew up has a different way of expressing the same thing that's been here. So in a way, we're all God's sons, and he just chooses some people to have certain lives and chooses other people to have certain lives. And I think that we also created this experience for ourselves because we're higher dimensional beings. I think that this world is a shadow of our true selves, and I think that the purpose of this life is to get as close to becoming your true self as possible. You're here to be in a lower dimension to figure out your way back to being infinite. Does that make sense? There's some type of soul that comes through people in immense challenges, and I am able to recognize it with empathy. That's some type of thing close to Jesus. It's like maybe it's my higher self. It's like, as I learn more about art, I learn to appreciate this spirit that talks through people in times where I go through immense suffering and torture, and my abuser will just come out at the very end when I realize it was all a prank and none of it was real. It was all a simulation. And then that guy comes out and he tells me something so profound it sticks with me for years. And I'm able to recognize that soul. And I think that's the closest thing that I have to Jesus so far. But I know when I daydream and I build a connection to the higher dimensions, suddenly I get inspired, and I get ideas that come down that help me with my art, that makes me cry. That's the best answer I have right now, but I know that following the religion probably won't steer you in the wrong direction. I don't think you can go wrong with fasting, sunlight, probiotics, ketosis, autophagy, neurogenesis, fat, cold showers, omega-3s, multivitamins, rest, isolation in the woods, daydreaming, saying no to what you don't want and yes to what you do want. There's a reason that these crows won't leave me alone all day, and they're constantly attacking me all day. They don't stop. They don't eat, they don't sleep. They're just screaming in my face all the time, until sometimes a hawk shows up and protects me. And sometimes I feel like I have more anointed authority over them, and I can make them leave with my mind. And I have tons of live streams and videos of me being able to turn crows off with my mind, using what I just taught you, Higgs boson, and this practice to upgrade yourself spiritually, and biologically to upgrade yourself spiritually. You feel me? But I'm a 33 life path born on the 11th, and my name is the most powerful name in Freemasonry, Casey. Do you hear him? They've followed me for years. Every single day. It's torture. They try to wear me down. I can feel them try to dominate and start to attack my spirit, and then they get closer and get louder. They're literally attacking me. And when I fight back, it'll take me days to stay in it enough to fight back. But then when I do, the birds come out and support me. Like, you notice there's no birds here anymore. Yesterday it was full of birds, but because the crows are here like this, the birds are afraid. I don't know, man. I think I'm in a simulation. I think I'm in a Ready Player One suit. I don't know why, but every day when I wake up, no matter where I am, even when I was in the car, every day from when I wake up to when I go to bed, there's just crows screaming at me. All day, every day, since 2020 at least. So 4 years of this. They would sit outside my apartment and sit outside my window, screaming at me. All day. Landing on my car while I'm asleep in the back, screaming at me. Outside in the woods, screaming at me. In town, screaming at me. Following me from place to place. Something about me makes the crows like that. There are plenty of glitches and reboots. Quantum physics has proven now that there are things called indinctra codes. There are error correcting codes. The same way that Grand Theft Auto has error correcting codes in case of bugs. The universe has error correcting codes to keep the simulation going. You only ever experience your reality when you empathize with other people. It's still your reality, your energy. And I think that there's no reason that we can't all be in our own personal simulations, our own personal Minecraft servers. And then other people can come into our Minecraft servers because there's just this higher dimensional system of things that we're co-creating with our insides. And the thing I teach is to get back inside and to start controlling reality. And that's when I have crackheads come at me with hatchets in the street, and crows that don't stop trying to destroy my insides. And then when I cultivate it and good enough, then I have cops. My life is just dealing with crows and cops every day. Police officers that are so deluded they've gone insane, and they feel my energy and they want to come destroy it and take it for themselves. And I've shown you on live so many times how it happens, the same sequence of events that keeps happening. But then I wake up to a higher level where I realize it's all bullshit and it's a fake matrix, and then there's so much more I could be doing, and then reality opens up, and then I just keep fighting and I keep fighting and keep fighting, and then eventually I find everything I've been looking for. but nothing I was looking for, if that makes sense. But I'm tired, man. These crows are draining me. It's probably to make me seem crazy. Yeah, it's probably to make me seem crazy. But yeah, do push-ups. When I fall asleep on the ground and I wake up and I do push-ups, after everything, no matter what I've been through, it just helps everything I do in life. If you're a girl, do squats. And just watch how that consistent practice of just fasting sunlight, staying outside more than you staying inside, enjoying nature, enjoying life, going on adventures, and then just getting rid of the stuff that's keeping you running in circles, because we all have parasites in our body controlling our thoughts. It's just a part of human experience, is that we have parasites that are in there trying to get us to eat more sugar. And then when you stop eating sugar, your body has a chance to eat it. And then that will wake one day you'll after doing this, you'll stand up too fast one day and you'll break through everything that you've ever been conditioned to believe since you were a child, and it would be really, really overwhelming. And then you'll have this confirmation in the back of your mind that it's real, and that it's your chance to be brave, and it's your chance to create the world you want to see and be the change, and to just enjoy life the way that you want to, instead of the way that you feel like you're being forced to, subconsciously, through what they call electronic harassment and artificial intelligence, intention waves to influence you and ruin your inner emotional electromagnetic state, to control your Higgs field and have you pumping out a reality for them. And that's true. It's a true fact. Your proof. It takes a lot of mental effort, but I just asserted my dominance over the space. Now I'm controlling the crows and making them shut up. They were going crazy, and it forced me to have to convert energy from the town and channel it through me to extend my influence over here with my 33 life path super ego that's now holding a space and holding the territory against them. And now they shut up because I put them in their place, and I do that to people. And that's why the system comes at me, brother. I'm closer to Tarzan than I am a normal person at this point. I'm the wild man. I'm the king of the north! Weed is gay. Fuck weed. Real ones can understand how to take the chemicals in weed and then using your gut microbiome to make the serotonin to stimulate your third eye and then shake up your snow globe the way that weed does, and you can do everything you can do high, addicted to a drug that destroys your testosterone and makes you produce estrogen, making your tits bigger and making your dick smaller when you smoke weed. And you can just do it naturally. I could get myself high right now with push-ups and then sacred geometry. Go watch the Eric Weinstein, Terrence Howard shit. Eric Weinstein tells Terrence Howard, I know you're a crack addict. You need to stay the fuck away from divine mathematics, because you're gonna get yourself high every 5 seconds. When you see how everything connects to everything, you're gonna get yourself high all the time. Yeah. No, weed can help, man. I wouldn't, as long as you're not addicted and overdoing it. Like a bong rip, there's no way you do a bong rip for ADHD. That's way overdoing it. You can take a single hit from a one hitter, and that can get you high for the whole day if you know how to do what I'm teaching you here with fasting, sunlight, probiotics, the Higgs boson. I can teach you how to control the entire universe right now. I can do it in I bet I can do it in 3 minutes. I could teach you how to control the universe in 3 minutes. And I learned it from the CIA. And I use it to talk to ancient Irish gods, and I literally have made the crows shut up with my mind. Yesterday I went on live and a homeless person walked up to me and said, "You're an angel. You're an angel. You're an angel." Psychics call me an angel all the time. And I have no pride about it. It just is. I've suffered enough. I've suffered so much that I don't really have any type of ego whatsoever. It's just sometimes I don't want to listen to people talk about the same stuff over and over again. But to be a 33 life path, you're completely selfless and you're just here to serve humanity. So we get the option to have super egos because we're the only ones that can use it, and that's why we have energy vampires that attack us and then go crazy immediately afterwards when they feel like they took it from us. They go insane. You feel me? I don't know. It's whenever. The world is going crazy more and more every day. So I just go live when I go live. It's been every day now for the past couple weeks. Sometimes I go for 12 hours and I just solve problems all day. Sometimes we debate about God and I wake people up to current events and I tell people stuff from my perspective. Sometimes I see, like the other night, if you go back to one of my older lives, aliens come to me all the time. Like I see UFOs at night all the time. I see aliens all the time, and I walk you through the entire experience where I wake up to aliens. They go insane for days. So I'm on the fence about it. People are saying that they're not taking your energy. You're giving them your energy. So I'm not sure. And other people are saying that those people aren't even real and they're just expressions of yourself at that given moment because we're all one. So they're never taking your energy. It's just you're subscribing to the belief that you lost your energy when in reality it's all in your head. And this extension of ourselves is just another version of our imagination that we've chosen to forget is a part of our imagination to be able to be here and experience this. Just like we have a shadow that's in the two-dimensional plane, this three-dimensional plane is a shadow of our 4D version of ourselves, our higher self. You feel me? So I mean, we all need to be promoting positivity and have positive energy, and we all need to be raising our vibrations and have positive belief systems. It's the only way we're going to be able to grow outside of the matrix when the world goes crazy, because I'm seeing it firsthand. People are not doing well. Nobody is operating from a sense of anointance. Nobody's operating from a high vibrational state in public. And that's causing them to act really erratically, violently, angrily. They're like losing control of themselves and then walking with their head down, twitching, and then walking down the street, and then they only follow people that are conscious. It's a zombie apocalypse happening right in front of our eyes. And this is the only cure. Fasting is to find a way to heal your biology so that you can house love and then express it in your own creative style as an individual, in your own unique way. It's the only way. It's the only way to fix the world. That's how you get moments of clarity where it all makes sense and all your problems dissolve. There are people that haven't had that sense of clarity in years, and they've completely gone down. And those people, some of them are in control in the government. Some people are in the government that are like that. Like, look at how many congressmen are fat as fuck. with the dark, soulless eyes. And now it's proven, we know for a fact Jeffrey Epstein was an ancient vampire. Man, it's the ecosystem. It's getting off on hurting others. There's only a handful of us that operate from this divine truth. It's that some people just choose to live that way because it's more fun for them. It's that some people are a part of the social construct system, and that's just an aspect of that system, is to be judgmental and to be like this. Some people are like, have cultivated an ego, and they're protecting that ego, so they have to criticize others because it keeps them going, so that they can avoid the fact of that, the energy that person was coming across with, so that they can continue to maintain their life that they're settled into. Like, I know a bunch of kids that throw their beer cans out the window, and they're banging some hot girls, but all they do is just talk shit about other people all day. And that helps them, actually, because it's like they're asserting themselves instead of having to deal with the problem. But then there's like artistry. Like, I definitely judge people's beats when I listen to beats. I just go, that's not for me, I don't like that. And then I do like this. So it's personal preference at the same time, but also I don't waste my time going into comment sections being like, this beat's trash. I'm just like, okay. Then I move on to the next one. So some people just don't have their priorities straight. They're wasting time. I'm kind of the same way with that. I don't have my priorities straight. I should sleep, I should set an alarm, and I should wake up, and I should call this bike shop, unless it's 9 o'clock now. It's getting close to 9, so I'll call them before I go to bed. And I'll be like, I have this bike. Both of the wheels are off. It doesn't look like there's a way. Is there a way you could take a look at? But I mean, there's a fucking... This is like that's a city bike that a homeless guy stole. So I'm not trying to lose that bike. So I think I'm gonna, at 3333, I had the idea that I should sleep, wake up, and try to fix it myself. And then when that doesn't work, then I'll ask them about it online. I'll call them and ask them about it. And if that doesn't work, then I'll try it. But I'm not trying to get my bike stolen. A cop stole my bike yesterday, and he had to give it back after throwing a hissy fit. And he was really mad about my live streams. A lot of cops watch my live streams, and they're very pissy about it because I hold them to a higher standard, and I talk about the shit that I know that they do in the small towns of Vermont, where 250 subscribers is pretty close to famous for them. And then there's for new people, there's tons of higher level stuff that I've gotten into a lot about what my gift on earth has been, the story that I'm blessed to live inside, and how that expressed itself to people across the world already. Okay. So I need rest. The Matrix attacked me last night and yesterday. So I need sleep. So somebody put a problem in. I'm going to solve somebody's problem before we leave. Somebody just talk about something they're struggling with. Ask me a question and watch what comes to my head, bro. I bet I can find a way to have the right thing you need to hear. If not, I'm going sleepy weepy, and then I'm gonna wake up, and then maybe I'll be in a whole different Minecraft server. I don't know. Maybe reality will change around me because my insides will heal and change. Overcoming lust. Understanding that your body is a house for spiritual energy, and that sex is sacred energy exchange. When you sleep with a girl, you're exchanging energies, so the girl might be full of bad energy. And a lot of times in my life, I get stuck with girls that are beautiful, amazing, sexy, charismatic, funny, loving, good mothers, own businesses, yoga instructors, drive challengers. I've had some of the women I dated when I was 17 outshine anyone that you'd see on your For You page or on TikTok in like their personality, their creative style, their soul, their how they looked. And then I watched them slowly convert to the social matrix, and they lost themselves. They have the hollow eyes. They have no connection to themselves. They fell into societal conditioning. And I mean, one story is that there was this girl, this bad black queen. I really liked her, and we dated, and things went great. And then after the first time we had sex, I made her orgasm for the first time, and she realized what it was like to feel my presence, and she cried for a half hour in my arms. She didn't cry there at first. She just stood there frozen in place because she realized her entire life was a lie, and that her parents had trained her the wrong way, and that all of her boyfriends were fake, and that she wasn't even loving her kid the right way because she had no idea, because she had just been brainwashed. So when I fucked her and I made her orgasm, she woke up to that, and it was so crazy for her. She didn't know how to move. She couldn't move her body, and I gave her an infinite software upgrade to love. And she drove me back to my car at the rest stop. I talked to her for hours about the simulation, and then in the middle of the night, when I was talking about NPCs in the Truman Show, her neighbor walked out like a robot, like this, and just walked out, and then stood in the middle of the driveway, just twitching and staring at us through the window, to wake her up to that truth. And then as she drove me to my car, we passed this old silo and this old barn on some back road deep in Vermont. And then she cried again, and she's like, I had a dream where I met you as a child, and you taught me how to fly a week ago. And it was at this silo right here. I'd never seen this in my life. I live like 10 miles down the road. I've never been down this road before. And you taught me to fly at the silo, and you were like this young version of yourself. That young version of myself is the profile picture for my YouTube. That kid taught her how to fly. The young kid that sat alone on the mountain with Gary the Legend O'Brien building Legos, and we had an entire empty ski mountain to ourselves every day. The next time I saw her, completely lost it, hollow eyes, angry, bitter, drama, gossiping, horrible stuff. I hooked up with her again, and I felt this disgusting, smelly, evil presence in the car. It was gross. It was weird. I felt like I lost myself completely, and I was just hollow, empty husk. And she started cackling and going, and I was like, is that a demon? And she's like, yeah. Yeah. I took you. Because I had this inspiration for an amazing song, and then she hit me up saying, I want to fuck you. So I was like, fuck it. I'm homeless. So that happened. Tell me why so she told me that night that a demon came to her one night and told her that karma doesn't work the way we think it does, and that if she can take the power from this demon, it will help her in life, and she'll use her position as a manager of a McDonald's to ruin everybody's day. And what that will do is force them to overcome those negative emotions and force them to come to righteousness, and it will help God. So she just made everybody mad all day, feeding this demon. And then she targeted me, and it worked right when I got inspired to make an amazing song, and I felt like a star. 2 weeks later, she said that demon possessed her son. She said she looked at her son, and she saw that the thing was inside of her son. So she lunged at her son and choked her son almost to death, and her parents had to break through the door, get her away from the son, and keep the son in the locked room away from her when she wasn't at work. So pay attention to your feelings, and when you're suddenly feeling like it's really good for you to jerk off. And make sure you find somebody. The best relationships I've ever been with, where we had the best sex, like my body count's like around 40 now. I used to be a pickup artist. I used my autistic savant syndrome riz to game tons of women from like 16 to 21. And I was still picky, but I believed God was putting the right person in my way. I didn't fully call it God, but I knew I'm a savant. I could tell when I was growing in positivity and I was growing my essence and being more loving. And then the people I would meet in my day to day, I was just taking risks and having faith. The best relationships I had were with when I was on a mission, doing things that I loved, enjoying what I was doing every day, like gardening, or I joined a choir group and I was on my way to get buff and become rich, and I was inspired every day and having a good time. The people that came at me directly, so girls would just throw themselves at me a lot. Like I'd go into a bar and a girl would come up to me, or I would like go to I work at Price Chopper, and then there was this baddie 10 out of 10 Irish woman, like red hair but thick, perfect, like beautiful woman, like 10 out of 10. And she would put on really skimpy shorts and put her hair in pigtails and would twirl her pigtails and just stand next to my line. And she kept buying gum every day trying to get me to hook up with her, and she took my virginity. Those types of things went horribly wrong all the time. The sex was bad. I felt lifeless and drained afterwards. I felt horrible. I grew to hate the woman when I came from lust like that, chase and tail like that. But when I was doing the things I loved to do, and then there would be like a same beautiful woman, same beautiful soul that would just happen to be doing the same thing with me, and we built a relationship off of what we were doing and working together. That grew into a friendship, that grew into a relationship very quickly, and that grew into the best sex I've ever had. When I was when I was doing something that had nothing to do with sex at all, it was just kind of in the back of my mind. Like, I know as I'm getting better, I'm going to be in a better position to do better and do more. Then the right people came to me. And when I took the wrong people that would come directly at me, it never went well. Also, it's easier to change a habit than to break a habit if you suffer with like porn addiction. Instead of like fantasizing about who you want to be with, who you want to sleep with, when you think about that and then you don't act on it, so like you think about sex and you don't jerk off, that actually builds up your essence. You're like channeling and creating more, so that's making you more powerful. And your energy and your vibe and your aura is what girls go off of. So just keep it in your mind, like, I'm building and building and building to get to a place where I can do that. And watch as how you start to feel more powerful. It's called semen retention. You start to do that. Watch as how you're going to get yourself to a better position because you're giving yourself more potential to do more. And then over time, you won't want to be like overcome by lust. You won't want to jerk off because you realize that you're expending all these amazing feelings that you have naturally when you don't do it. Give yourself time to build yourself up. Like that, not achieving that post-nut clarity, like when you don't have that post-nut clarity, that's powerful. You can do a lot of shit with that, not expending yourself and coming back to post-nut clarity. When you build yourself up and keep that creative essence growing and glowing and getting better, everything you do will be more powerful. And then when you learn to channel that into doing what you love and then making progress and then loving a life where you're ambitious and going towards things that you want in life with patience and consistency, but also hard work and risk taking and pushing your boundaries, you'll realize that when you're ready for it, it'll come to you. California adventure. That's where I was gonna head next, is California. California adventurers join the chat. Yeah, what's homeless? What does it mean to be homeless? California adventurer is somebody that jerks off all the time and is unhappy in his life. California adventurer is a loser, bro. And we could argue that because he's like that, it wasn't conscious for him to say that. Like, that came to him, and he doesn't even realize why that came to him. Real recognize real. And then you'll have access to actually help you. Be picky. Because especially as the 33 life path, you probably have so many things that are keeping you from achieving this actual power that you have. It's taken me 4 years at least to be able to wake up to that power and to actually be able to manage it in reality, in real time. Before, I would live in ignorance and I would just push myself and live in my delusion. No reality is real. It's all made up. So if I just stay strong with my own common sense and I create the life that I want and I just get to the limit, not delusional like I'm going to go shoot the president, but delusional like I'm going to get buff and work out and be who I want to be whenever I want to be it. And I'm going to do things that I'm going to say what I want to say and have fun in life. And if I don't like that matrix, I'm not going to live inside that matrix. And then suddenly, like within a week of doing that, I had a flock of like 10 kids that I would take to the bowling alley every day. And I'd take to the Chinese restaurant. And then I was throwing events. And then I had the beautiful women and all this stuff. But when I was trying to fit into public, nobody ever wanted to be around me. You feel me? Yeah, if being a 6 life path is very different than being a 33. If it adds up to 6, it's a lot different than if it adds up to 33. If you add it left to right, so I'm 12, that's 3, 11, that's 2, that's 5, 9, 1999 adds up to 28. So 28 plus 5 is 33. So I'm a 33. But if it adds up to 6, what's up, bro? I called a bunch of police precincts to tell them about the whiny babies that I saw yesterday and asked for permission to stay at this park. And then they got really mad. And then I called them out and I said, you need to be more disciplined and patient with people. You're acting like a bunch of children right now. You're hostile to a stranger on a phone. And you're serving the community. This is your job. And then the female dispatcher passed the buck to her sergeant. And then I told the sergeant everything that's happened to me involving police and crackheads. And I gave him a unique perspective, and I told him about my electric bikes, and he shut the fuck up and listened for a half hour. He let me talk for a half hour, and he was like, I'm speechless. Sorry, enjoy your life. So they just told me Ted Bundy. Was Ted Bundy a Sagittarius? If Ted Bundy's a Sagittarius, then I just got a channel from the divine. If you go check and see if Ted Bundy is a Sagittarius, because I have no idea if Ted Bundy is a Sagittarius, but if Ted Bundy is a Sagittarius, I just got a literal download from something outside of myself. No, people are saying, doctors and shit, and psychics, and the CIA lady, and Freemasons have all told me that most likely, because I'm a 33 life path and born on the 11th, And also because of my genetics with my father and my mother's side, Rh negative blood. And also the fact that when I was born, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck and I had to be carted off in a helicopter at midday with the sun above me flying north. People say that that might have enlarged my DMT gland along with my early childhood traumas, that makes it so when I smoke weed, I have DMT experiences. And when I fast and do all this stuff with sunlight, I have what people spend years trying to find on DMT. I just had laying in the back of my car astral projecting. And then I found out about DMT later on because I was trying to describe what was happening to me. And then I've had people, like a lot of Joe Rogan episodes where they talk about their experience. Like almost word for word, I've had the exact same experience. And I have it naturally. So I, like, one time there was like a 12-year-old kid that was on acid and he was walking around Brattleboro, and Brattleboro's a really dangerous place. So I had my foster brother with me who was still in high school. So it wasn't weird for me to invite a fucking 12-year-old kid on acid into my apartment. I had kids that were already there because I was taking care of tons of kids that their parents gave up on them. Like my whole life, I'm just surrounded by kids who didn't have good families. And they just kind of live at my house, or I live at their house, and I make them work out every morning. And I bring them around girls to see how I talk to them and how to have fun and be free, how to free associate and be free. And that kid on acid looked at me and was like, "You're the highest form of empath possible." And he just kept reiterating. He's like, "No, I mean, I can see it. You have something that other people don't." And he just went off for hours about all these attributes that a 33 life path has later on. It's just part of being born on the 11th in a 33 life path. And my name happens to be the most powerful name in Freemasonry. And both my family's bloodlines are Rh negative blood, and my dad is identical to the statue of Brian Boru in Ireland, and we're named after Brian Boru. And people just randomly named him Gary the Legend O'Brien. And he for some reason got to live with the DuPont family, one of the wealthy elite 13 families, and he randomly got to live in their yachts and their mansions with them. And he taught their kids how to ski. And I happened to be I was conceived on St. Patrick's Day, and I was supposed to come out at the winter solstice, but I came out on the 11th, as my phone charger is at 11%. And there was 11 people in the chat at the time, I think. Maybe I'm reaching. Dev Jeff, were you a heroin addict? Were you in a trap house with a bunch of crackies? I'm happy that you're not in that life. I'm seeing that, like, I see people that are in Vermont, heroin's heavy, and there's no police presence at all. So there are feral packs of homeless zombies that run around at night. They need to fast sunlight probiotics. I'm getting a lot of cold chills. I've scared the crows away. I'm trying to sleep. We're solving people's problems in life. I'm talking about my esoteric wisdom from all the shit that I've been through and all the people that I know in the industry and in certain government organizations. Because fuck it, the world's ending, and my life, that's crazy. His brother gave him heroin for a toothache in 8th grade. You're the exact person that this is for. You found this for a reason, bro. If you have drug brain and you have a lot of brain damage from drugs, I'm the person that you needed to find. I'm like the one person that you could, out of everybody on the planet, like there's a handful of people like this. I'm the person that you need to hear. So hear this really quickly. When your body stops taking in sugar and you only eat fats like chicken and fish and eggs, your body doesn't need sugar. What does need sugar is parasites that are living in your body. When you get sick from a bacterial infection, that's because there are parasites in your body that are shitting. When you stop eating and you fast, your body goes through what's called autophagy and apoptosis. It looks in and it finds the things that are not helping the body heal and get back to the natural baseline that you had as a child. And your body will go in and eat that first when you start fasting. So if you have a bunch of brain damage and brain injuries and cancer and all this crappy shit in your body, you stop eating for periods of time, then you go to chicken and eggs, some steak sometimes, and fish. And you take cold showers after you exercise. Your body goes through ketosis and it starts to make this fluid that, like, it starts to make acetone. And that acetone goes through your whole body. And it goes when you take cold showers and you exercise and you kind of raise your vibration with meditation and you just breathe more. You come to your senses and you kind of break through all that shit that's in your head. Your body will clean it out and eat all the damaged cells. And then you can take in omega-3s and DHA that's in fish. And that's what your brain's made out of. Then you can start taking the good and your brain will repair itself. And then you should be at, like, I swear to God, in 6 months, you'll be able to reverse anything that drugs have ever done to you. I know someone that cured cancer. He had a month to live. Every single month they gutted him out. And then we're like, you got another month. And they did that for 2 years. Within 6 months of doing this, he's never been back. Chicken, rice, and eggs. And you don't even need rice. Rice is just a fast-acting carbohydrate that feeds parasites. I mean, if you're skinny, it's all forms of damaged tissue. It's all forms of damaged tissue. Anything that's not naturally how your DNA is designed to be. If there's anything hindering your DNA, damaged tissues, damaged cells, parasites, bacteria that isn't serving the body, when you fast and you go through ketosis, autophagy, and apoptosis, your body cleans itself out. And it's just doing it for, like, the people that are real about it, the people that are, like, actual spiritual warriors, like, real deal, those people don't eat at all. Because they know that when they take in that stuff, it triggers an insulin response. And then all of a sudden, reality comes cascading into them. Real people in the CIA don't eat. They eat. Actually, what they do, swear to God, they eat raw eggs, and they put like tons and tons of pills in the eggs, and then they just drink the eggs, and they do push-ups all day. From sun up to sundown, they're doing push-ups. The people the CIA operatives that choose to be really conscious, because their job is to astral project, and their job is to manifest, and their job is to remote view, and their job is to psionically control somebody. Those people don't eat, and they stay in, like, an isolated stasis tank. And then they go outside and they eat worms from the ground to stimulate, with probiotics, to stimulate their gut fauna and flora, to keep producing the serotonin chemicals and keep their system strong. Yeah, but there's a sweet scent in the air that's constantly programming us. Every time we breathe in, we're breathing in a drug that's structuring our reality. And that's why the richest, wealthy elites are burning down half of the world, because they want new trees to come in with a new reality. They don't want these trees that have been around, because we're breathing in that reality that they've had since these trees have been around. As long as this mycelial network has been around, it's been gathering information. Shit, that reminds me, bro. Where is it? It's in my backpack. So, I don't eat at all. I don't. When I have food stamps at the start of the month, then I splurge on protein. I gain a bunch of muscle, and then when I run out, I suffer. My wife, I cut out. But occasionally, I will reward myself. Oh fuck! Come on, bro. There's a fucking bug in my dumpster pizza. So right now, I can't afford food, so I'm eating out of I have a bunch of shit from the gas station dumpster. It has a weird smell, but it's not that bad. That shit's fucking gross. Not eating that one. I'm just taking it as it's stimulating my immune system. Yeah, I'm not eating this shit. I've fasted so long that any type of food that isn't healthy for me is just disgusting. I'm saving it. I have like, I think I have, you know, I've been calling my mom out for being a horrible person. Because of her own mental health issues. She felt obligated to throw in another dig at me. So she gave me 20 bucks, but she left me a message to try to trigger me. So my mom gave me 20 bucks. So I have now, I think I'm at like $48. Maybe 50, I'm at like 52, I think. I don't know, man. Fuck it. We're throwing out the empanadas. Animals can eat that. There you go, Starnos. And then this will be fire tonight. There's actually a fire pit right next to me. Just like for the campsite. You're not allowed to camp here, but they have a whole to hang out at. I don't know. So, okay, the name of the game is get a phone. Put my Straight Talk SIM onto my phone. My other phone, when I get it, I get it. That's what I could spend my money on. I could buy a nice Straight Talk phone for 50 bucks. And then I could use the Wi-Fi, and then I could have TikTok going on this. Or I was thinking about buying saving up for a guitar. Or buying a nice big military backpack. Fat white people. It's okay. I don't know. I think now that I have this bike that changed the game for me. Because where I'm going, I can't cart two bikes around if they don't have working tires. So now that I have a nicer bike, but the bike is kind of fucked up right now. I have to fix that bike. And then I can go. Because I tried. I carried that bike. I rode this bike and carried that bike on my shoulder. And I rode like a mile with it. It's tough. That's a heavy bike. So I'm gonna call around and try to have that fixed, and then figure out about selling it because they're pretty expensive on eBay. It's just this bike has a city. It says City of Barrie. I'll show you. It's got this right here. It's a bicycle license. So this is a civilian's bike. So if I go take it to the fucking the bike shop. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have Cash App. Cash App and PayPal. Am I still here? Am I still here? Hello. Come on, bitch. There we go. All right. How's this? This might be the case. Yeah. I'm thinking about mobilizing you guys to do push-ups and shit. Because everyone here is probably broke. With a lot of time. I mean, I have time to go live for 8 hours a day. I can go live for 24 hours a day. I wonder where Joe Martin went. Sometimes, like, some people I'll have, like, a big conversation with, and it will be like I meet somebody that's into the esoteric shit, and he's, like, knows what he's talking about. Like, I meet a guy with a tinfoil hat in a basement that knows what he's talking about. And then, for some reason, that guy he's like, I'm gonna be on every single live, and then that guy just disappears off the face of the earth. Like, he comments every day. We're, like, building something together. He's like, I have him doing a Google Doc to syndicate his information so he doesn't sound schizophrenic and crazy. I'm like, I'm telling people like that to order everything that they know, to come to a theory of everything that they can share, instead of just spouting off like this. If anyone's in here that I don't respond to directly, hit my Instagram up. Like, if you're, like, messaging me, if your message is like you try to talk to me all the time. If there are people in the chat that try to talk to me and it's just for some reason YouTube hides the amount of people that are actually viewing, and sometimes it hides certain channels that I can no longer talk to. And they're trying, but they can't. For some reason I just never see it. It's not that I'm ignoring you, it's that YouTube's been fucking with me since I started, like, talking about this stuff. So hit my Instagram up and I'll be able to get back in touch with you. And stay consistent. I showed you that I've been fasting so much that I literally was getting sick from eating that food. I'm glad I didn't get a Domino's pizza. I'll be sick. It's cigarettes and then one sweet Arizona. Like, I have like a quarter gallon of Arizona a day. Maybe. And even then the sugar... I'm back. Yeah, I need water. The problem is that there was a huge flood here. So all the stuff from the gas station that wasn't from Vermont specifically. So, like, everyone has a backlog of Arizonas naturally. Like, all the gas stations have tons and tons of Arizonas. They're big sellers, so they get huge shipments. So we had Arizonas. And we had cheddar popcorn. But everything else up here, and we had the Vermont dairy. Everything else was like, for like imagine how much is like a regular water where you're at like $2 for like a bottle of water. It was coming to be around like $8 or $9 for a couple weeks. Swear to God, like a gallon of water was about $9, and I think like one of those small bottles of water, $5. That's where we were at. I'm good, man. How you feeling? My life has been getting fucked up. Check it out. I'm in the wood, bitch. I'm in the woods. And check it out. Look at my new bike. Check out my new bikes. As soon as Derek went to South Africa, tons and tons of people from South Africa have been joining the lives. It was New Zealand and Native American reservations. Then it was Europe. And then as soon as Derek moved down to South Africa, now I'm getting tons of South Africans in the chat. Right? The tires are both broke. It was a homeless dudes can steal bikes, but they cannot ride bikes. So I go out at nighttime and I'm finding a new bike every night that some homeless guy stole, and then he crashed, and then he ran away before he got caught. So this bike, dude, I ain't even gonna lie, this bike right here is on Google $2,500. If it looks like the same bike. That bike's definitely old, like the new model. If I got a new of that bike, a new one is $2,500. So I'm keeping this close, right? And it's my album cover. It's the black and red. It's my colors. I also found, where is it? When I got this tent that says AMP on it, and I opened my AMP tent, I was on my last cigarette and I needed a cigarette, and in this AMP tent, there was a cigarette, and there was a red bandana. Welcome to my store. Welcome to my store. You crippin'? I'm technically Vice Lord. They didn't jump me in, but they made me fuck a prostitute in order to stay in Albany. If I wanted to continue living with Vice Lords, I had to fuck a fat 40-year-old prostitute. And I fucked her, I think it was like 3 pumps just for her to see how big it was. Not to, you know. And then she's like, I made it hurt her, so she feel it. And then I washed my shit and left. She was like, I met my match. And I'm like, okay, have fun with your match. And then I left. She thought I was her soulmate. This methed up, fat 40-year-old prostitute. And then I had a Jamaican pimp as a mentor for a couple months in 2022. And it was probably some of the best times of my life, man. We went to nightclubs in Albany, in like a real city. And I had my nice Dodge Magnum, and I had my nice shit on. I had my snapback, my Tim's on, smoking Black and Mild. It was my people, for real. Like, I can't, it's like, living out here has destroyed that. It's really taken me away from that. But that was my element. It's a lot of, I know you know what I'm talking about too. It's a lot of pain. You have to hold a lot of pain to keep it real. But that's life. You gotta be that way. I just kind of, eventually I got old enough that I let it go. Like, I did it for 2 years, where I held on to all the suffering, because I'm like, it's keeping me real, and I had a lot of strong, because I just had the right mentors that came from struggle and came from hard times, and we're gang members, and we're like that, and that actually, it gave me the courage to be myself, actually. Because I always felt like when I was growing up that I didn't fit in. And now I realize that it was just, they were privileged, and I wasn't. I wasn't privileged. I had a lot of suffering as a child. I couldn't be like they were. I didn't fit in the pretend world like that. So then I just naturally gravitated towards black people. I'm not racist. I don't think that we're different. I don't think that it's like different species of people. I think genetics are definitely different. Like, and culture's different, but I don't see it like like my dad gets uncomfortable. He think even though every time I see my dad, he's surrounded by different shades of wheat, like Mexicans and black people and all this. Like every time my dad was at the motels, he was always surrounded by, and my mom too. Everywhere my parents went when they lived in Section 8, it was like there was a white group and there was a people of color group. And they never really talked to each other, but they just kind of ended up in the same spots, and my parents would always be there. But it just, I had a Jamaican pimp named Jack, and someone named, I know one of Boosie's cousins, Lil Boosie in New Orleans, in Louisiana, and then a guy named Kimo from Dominica. And I hung out with them for a long time, and that contrast where instead of like feeling like I was not around, like I just felt like I was an alien, then I realized I was just around the wrong people. But eventually I got tired of the pain, and it was like where I was in white America, it's like everywhere I went they just turned me away because they felt the energy. They didn't like how I was coming. And fast forward, like I've been dealing with it for months, and I've also had to like live outside, so I've just come back to it this way by just letting go of everything. And that's why I can't watch my live streams back, man, because I don't like how I'm coming across, because I know I could be doing a lot better. This guy got recruited by his dad, man. This is a real guy that slides on his ops, by the way. This is a guy from Chirac, and he's 17. I don't slide on my ops, but I have to fight a Viking with a hatchet in the middle of winter. And I've had to like argue with police across the country. And I've been to jail like 10 times. But I've never like been in a city and I have a gun and I have a group of people and there's a gun. Like they have a group, and then there's people down the block that have a gun and a group of people, and we don't like each other. I had a bunch of like pretend people that were like small 18-year-old kids from Brattleboro, Vermont, that did bath salts, and now they think that they're hood because they saw Lil Mabu or something on Instagram. So they like had a site, and they would just, this group of kids would throw. So I had to deal with that, and the way that I chose to deal with that was call his parents. I didn't slide my ops. I told him if he comes to me, we're gonna fucking kill him, first off, and then I said, then I called his parents. It's like, what the fuck happened? How did you let that happen? He thinks he's from the hood. He's threatening people with a gun, saying shit like Tom about this, Tom about that. You heard me? And I know for a fact he had just graduated from an all-white school. I think he works FedEx now, and I think he's calmed down because someone ran him over with a car. Someone got sick of him, and then on a back road in Putney, Vermont, a nice suburban kid was like, I'm fucking sick of this dude, and then swerved and ran that bitch over. And I think he mellowed out after that. But yeah, I don't see that a lot in my life. I definitely I lived in Albany for 2 months. So I was out there with that. There was lots of shootings. You couldn't code switch. You had to come correct all the time. So I just shut up. I didn't talk. And then when I talked, I tried to, like, I bought kids it was like this sectioned out place where they weren't picking up the trash, and it was like everybody was poor, and I had money from Dogecoin. So I bought a trampoline and I bought a pool, and then I called the maintenance to have the people take out the trash. I went and bought like there were guys that were gonna be in house arrest for the next like 4 years. So I went out and got them a bench press, and they still stole they tried to steal my Cash App information. it still tried to rob me, but I got their community a bench press so that when they weren't allowed to leave the building, but they could at least go down to this guy's house and they could all work out every day. And then I taught them how to stock trade on Grand Theft Auto. They were playing GTA Online, and I got high one night and they were passed out, and I opened the stock app and started stock trading for them. Real shit. And the only people I fought in Albany were a bunch of punk kids that were like from the hick area outside, that like really kind of mentally ill, delusional kids. And then I fucked their girlfriends, on God. And then we'd go to nightclubs. I went to a couple nightclubs. They were convinced I was gay because of the tone of my voice. So it was good for everybody to see that I was a pickup artist. So they saw me go to the club and I was doing better than they were. And then at some point I left and I never went back. And then I went to Mount Mansfield and I met an Irish god in the wild. I met a literal Irish god in the woods, and I had to fight some like spirits to the death with a mile marker. And it's been just crazy after that. It was really crazy. It's been nuts after that. I saw you wanted a birth chart read. I don't know, man. If you have a cell phone, download CoStar. Download CoStar Astrology on your phone. That's real. It's real and it's helpful. It's an AI has taken in all of yeah, I'll go into it in a second. Hold up, I'll say it. Let me light my cigarette and shit. What's my charge at? 7. What's my charge on my phone? 21. Can you do something? Hold up. So download CoStar Astrology, and then look up videos about the things that you see, specifically your rising sign, and then you'll find this girl that does really good videos about your rising sign, and then you can find all the different house placements. Yeah, CoStar Astrology. It's really helpful. And I'll tell you, I spent that $10 to buy my year in review to see like my personalized what my year should be like based off of astrology, and so far everything that it said has come true about this year. And then tie it in with numerology, and you'll get kind of closer to the divine creation that you are. For the Irish god, yeah, so I think, I don't know if I told you the story. Basically, I walked up the tallest mountain in Vermont. I got there at sunset. I climbed up the part you're not allowed to get to the tallest part. And then I got there when the sun was directly in front of my face. This was in 2022, so it was like right at the start of my journey. Right after I left Albany. And then because the first thing I did was go to Montreal, got kicked out, went to Plattsburgh. My motel burned to the ground while I was there. So I got money from the Red Cross. I got $500. So then I went to a bunch of different motels in the homeless program. And then I wound up around Vice Lords. And then they took me in after I fucked the prostitute. And I lived with them for months. And then I left. Then I went back to Vermont. And then I went further in and I went to Mount Mansfield. I went to the top. It was like midday. I made a promise to God or whatever that I was going to live every day like it's my last. I'm going to enjoy every moment. I'm going to eat food like it's the best meal I've ever had. I'm going to take risks, take chances. I'm going to live life to the fullest, I promise. And then I got down to the mountain, and then it was to not the tallest part, but like the top part of the mountain before that big stretch, the place that the public's allowed to go. And there was everybody else had gone home and left, and it was just one guy at the top of the mountain. This is like 7 miles up a mountain. And it was just an Asian guy that was a filmmaker, and he's like, I'm going to stay out here all night and camp and take videos of the stars. And I said, the worker was kind of pissy at me for being here. I hope that he doesn't tow your car. Like, don't leave your car. Like, be close by it just in case they give you problems, and good luck. And then, because I asked him for a ride to the bottom, so they didn't tow my car. A shuttle going, so it was pitch black, and I had this coat, and then the whole time there was behind me, rustling, like it was footsteps. It was two things, and it would like shuffle to the forest edge, and then it would dart across really quickly to the other side of the ski slope, and then it would keep following me down. And I was not who I am today. So back then I'm like, just focus, just keep pushing it, focus, get to the bottom, don't acknowledge it, just keep going. Eventually I picked up a mile marker and I kept going. I'm like, if it comes at me, I'm just gonna get it. And this thing was following me, and I felt like footsteps, it sounded like two legs, and it was following me down the whole mountain. Eventually I got to a point where it was like a 10-foot, or it was pitch black. I couldn't see how big the drop off was, but I spit and I couldn't hear it land. So it was this giant rock cliffside on this, and then there was a tiny little rock thing like the size of my body. And then there was this giant concrete platform with the chairlift on top of it, the chairlift post. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay there. Oh, before that, so let's take it like a mile before that. So right when I noticed this thing was coming at me in pitch black, my mind opened up, and it was like this giant ray of light opened up in my imagination, and then this giant deer person stepped out into my mind. And it was like this giant, it was all fur, but it had human hands, and it had a deer head with antlers, but giant human hands. And it just, I instantly felt it started talking to me, and it said, I am what you would call the embodiment of the wild, in its own words. Like, it was just like information. It wasn't words. It was just like codes. It said, you're on the right path. You're protected by God. This is a test for you to get to the bottom. If you choose to chicken out and you choose to sit there and wait until sunrise for the next 8 hours, I have full reign to do whatever I want to you. I can send a bear to eat you. And then I heard the rustling. So, and then that thing blipped out of existence. I just kept walking, like, I'm not going to acknowledge anything to do with that. Kept going. Then I got to that cliffside. And then I got to the bottom. Or I got to the cliffside, and then I hid between the chairlift and the drop off. Then I just sat there waiting for this thing that was following me. I was holding a mile marker like a spear and just waiting. And it got to the edge of the thing, and then I saw another thing hit my face, and it was this bright light that opened up. And then I saw a porcupine that, when I first left my hometown and I went on this big long adventure, there was the first place I wanted to go was a storage unit that I was gonna live outside of a Walmart. And that was right outside my hometown in Hinsdale, New Hampshire. And there was this porcupine walking around in circles in the middle of the road. So I put it in my guitar case, and I brought it to a wildlife conservation, and it turns out that it had a brain parasite that was guiding its decisions. So they had to put it down. But that porcupine came to my mind, and I felt how much it loved me. And it was really excited for me, and it was saying, just keep going, keep going, keep going. And then I looked up, and then I saw this giant UFO flew over me, and then shot down on the other side of the mountain where the public's not allowed to go. Like a full flying saucer with a giant yellow streak like a comet. And it flew over slowly and then landed behind the mountain. And then something in my mind, I heard a voice in my head say, an alien has landed and it's going to come for you if you don't leave. So I was like, fuck it. So I crawled to the edge of the rocks where it meets the tree line, to try to crawl down the side for the ski slope. And then I looked up for a split second, and there was a person there. It was pitch black. I didn't see who it was. There was just a person standing there. He was kind of crouched down. It was a silhouette of a man. I could see it clear as day. I could feel it. And then he went like some type of deep toned tongues I don't understand. And I was like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm going to keep going. So I climbed down. I grabbed my mile marker, kept going. And then I walked another 6 miles down the mountain. And then that rustling in the woods followed me the whole way. Eventually I got to the bottom, and the whole thing had been sealed off with gates with barbed wire fences to keep people from climbing up the mountain. And at that point I forgot how to speak English, and I was just slamming my mile marker on the ground and screaming at this thing to come out. like just slamming on the ground. And then I heard a coyote in the distance go, like, shut up, I'm trying to sleep. And then someone that looks identical to my friend. There was some guy that showed up in my life one day and he taught me MMA, and then I never saw him again. Someone that looks identical to that guy that taught me MMA, and they both look weird. They're like 6'5", blockhead like Minecraft, Irish people. They're identical, even down to the tone of their voice. It wasn't the same person at all. I swear to God, it wasn't the same person. They had different eye color too. And he opened the gate for me. I got out. I told him about what happened, and he was like, "Oh, it was just." I got really uncomfortable about it. And then I looked as they drove me away in the ambulance to bring me to my car. Because it was just like an overnight EMT that was there to meet one of his friends, and he took the ambulance because he had another call before, and he was just on his way to meet his friends, and he was headed to the main station. And then as he drove by with his windows down, so he showed up and got me out. And when I looked back, the spotlight was shining on the chairlift post that was 6 miles up the mountain, and I swear to God, I saw like a 10-foot tall shadow that had big long tentacles that were like shaking in the air, and it was darker than black. It was like Vanta black. It was like so dark that even in darkness you could see it. So I didn't say anything. I got in my car and I recorded the video called God Gave Me My 300 Moment, and that's on my channel. And then, just for proof that I'm telling the truth. And then, the first gas station that I got to, I was just standing there and I was trying to work up the courage to speak English again and go talk to somebody to get a couple bucks in gas to get me another 30 miles to Burlington to DoorDash. And then some young girl, like I was 22 at the time, she was probably 18, came up to me. She was going to go into the store, and then she froze like this, turned around and was like, "You just saw the shadow people, didn't you?" This isn't a surprise. Like, I'm really grateful that you're here. I was never going to bring it up to anybody else. And she was like, "Yeah, in northern Vermont, it's very normal. We see it all the time. I'm a practicing witch. It's real. You're not crazy. And it was an initiation for you. You're waking up to the truth." And then she just walked away, and I never saw her again. But yeah, I've had sleep paralysis a lot. I've like gotten high before and seen like shadow people walk into my apartment, and my cat freaks out. But I just chalked it up to my mind was playing tricks on me back then, or my mind didn't want to understand whatever that was. But I know tons of people that do mushrooms and they see shadow people with red eyes. It's just normal in Vermont. There's something in Vermont where we see people with hooded figures. We see hooded figures with deer skulls, and we see shadow people with red eyes. And they don't have bodies. They are like this half in, half out, like phasing through reality. And I mean, the Native Americans would call those people the Wendigo. They're like people that chose to sacrifice their connection to heaven and sacrifice to family members so that they could live on Earth forever, thinking that they could rule the Earth. But in reality, they got tricked, and they became like this purgatory being that's stuck between Earth and the higher dimensions. And then sometimes it can take a shape, and it will morph into an animal and then come people. But I didn't know anything about the deer man, so it was like a 6-foot tall deer man. I know Adventure Time has that episode where Finn got a brain injury, and all of his friends got stolen by the deer man, and they were in the basement in that sewer system, and the deer man was eating them slowly. But in Celtic mythology, the deer man was Cernunnos, the god of the wild. Like the place CERN, that European giant science facility where they test quantum physics and they try to open up portals to other dimensions. It's named after that Irish god. And then all the time when I feel like I don't have a connection to nature, since then, I'll see a single deer. And the Navajo said that when nature sends an ambassador to speak to you, you'll see a single deer. When you see groups of deer, that's normal. But when there's just a random single deer and it's kind of in your way and it's always watching you, that's like a Wendigo for the forest, trying to build a connection with you. And I mean, I've recorded that live, like deer coming up to me and like staring at me. The other day I had a live where a deer came and fell asleep, and now I'm thinking that was just one deer. But yeah, I see crazy shit in the woods all the time. That's just one of them. And I have lots of other stories about Irish gods. And then I learned from a traveling Navajo that they have the Mohicans and the Mayans had the same gods as the Irish. So yeah, that's real. Unless I'm in a private Minecraft server and that was God's way of expressing this cool story to me, that's real. That's my truth. So that happened. Okay, I'm tired. The forest is energizing me. Okay. I want to sleep. I'm going to sleep. Then, when I wake up, I'm going to fix my bike. I'm going to try to fix it. And if I can't, then it's useless to me. I'll call it a bike shop. Today's technically the day of travel. So this would be the day to go out and do it. No problem, bro. Keep the faith, take risks. Derek, I fuck with your song. I only heard it once, but I like the way that I like the flow was more active and intentional than most music. There was ferocity in it, like my music. I like that. About that, it was just a mix. And I think I remember the beat was dope. I'll have to go back and listen to it. Anyone that has creative hobbies, when you make content, just tag me in it and I'll watch it. We've got a couple people that have started YouTube channels since my live streams. So they're starting up. We're making a difference. Okay, I gotta piss. I'm gonna go. Stay up. Stay real.